Hello and welcome to my tutorial on how to make Central C melodic type beats. So let me play the beat for you and we'll get into how I made it.
Boy Jamie to turn up.
So yeah, that's the main gist of it. So the first thing I started with was this arcade preset up here. If you don't know about Arcade, it's a fantastic plugin that allows you to use both sampler kits and note kits. In this case, I've gone with one of the guitar sampler kits called Black Roses. And from it I used two samples, which was this one, and the other one was this one. Oh, sorry, not that one. That's the one. So this comes in straight away, the first sample, and the second one joins in on the last bar of the 8 bar, of the 4 bar, sorry. So that's the first thing that comes in, and I didn't apply any effects to that other than some EQ, which we'll come into later. This is to automate and give that kind of cool effect at the beginning where the music kind of sounds like it's drowning. The second effect I added, second sound I added, was this another arcade plugin, which was this vocal from Hooked. I used this in my previous tutorial as well. It just gives some fantastic kind of feminine vocals, and it sounds like this. And that comes in throughout the beat. And I used some reverb to give it that kind of a very ambient effect, and I also used a tiny amount of phase burb, I think, which for some reason that wasn't applied, but there you go. And that just gives it a really nice ambient effect. The final melodic sound that I used was a plugin called AMGML2, Ample Guitar 2, also known as. And here I just added some strumming effects, which is a very simple one strum on the start of each beat, and that just basically goes between the two chords in the song, which is D sharp minor and A sharp minor. If you want a tutorial on how you can use this plugin, because it is a little bit complicated, let me know down below. So as you can see, this sounds like this. Little notes do basically change the way you can change it between D sharp minor and A sharp minor. So that's all that's doing. Having made the melody, the next step was to add in the drums, and the drums follow this pattern. So the first thing we can look at, if we get rid of these, is look at the kick. Kick's a very simple pattern, especially in UK drill beats. I think that the less kicks, the better. Very simple. And then we added in the hi-hats, which is again that classic kind of drill hi-hat pattern, which goes like this. And all I've done is added in a hi-hat on the first beat just before the second, and then halfway between the second and the third of the bar. And then that is also accompanied by a few of these kind of trills, which then have their velocity reduced to give it that kind of shaker effect. And that just repeats throughout the whole song. The final two things I added was a clap, which was just a pierre clap. The claps hit on the second beat of the bar, and then also in the second bar they hit a beat later to give that classic drill sound. The final thing I added in was just some gunshots, and that made all of the percussion for the hook. The final thing I did was add in the 808 bass. For this bass, I used the the aggressive 808 bass here, and it sounds like this. So it's got quite a lot of distortion on it. So we can see I've added some saturation here. I didn't use Camel Crush in the end, but I added some saturation with a bit of drive, a bit of bass, and again that gives it that kind of allows the middle frequencies to shine through a little bit more and allows us to cut through the song a bit better. And I added some glue compressor, which allows you to sidechain the 808s from the kick. I can make another video on how to do that properly, but the idea is that every time that one of the kicks hit, the 808 will kind of get compressed, and it allows the kick to not basically get in the way of the 808 and vice versa. So you can hear that the kick and the 808 together sound like this. And every time that little stick moves up, that's the 808 getting compressed and allowing the kick to shine through, so they don't kind of muddle over each other and give it a very muddy sound. But the 808 pattern itself follows a very kind of basic 808 pattern, just following the bass notes and adding in a few slides. And if you don't know how to add slides in Ableton, come back over to your channel and go over to the simpler or the sampler and hit controls, and then where it says glide, it will be on off originally. Change that to glide. You can also mess around with the time, because that basically is the time it will take to slide up to the note above it. So for example, a note here, it's going to take 15 milliseconds to slide between this 808 and here. But obviously, depending on the song and the tempo, you might need to change that and make it higher, make it quicker or slower. The very final things I did was add in a few rises, which you can hear here. And I also added in some crashes. Having added in all of the pieces into the song, it was just about arranging it. So the first thing I did was obviously add in the guitar and the vocals. And in Ableton, if you hit A on your keyboard, you can bring up the automation. Now the way you can apply it is if you go over, if you already have an EQ filter added on, such as this one, I've chosen number 4 here and given that a kind of strong or harsh cut. When you hit A, go over to where it says mixer originally, or say mixer, click on that, go to EQ8, and then scroll down to where it says 4, frequency A. And this will be the same for any of the numbers, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Hit 4 frequency A or 3 frequency A, and that will bring up the frequency. And here you can just add in your own points and move this up and down to allow the frequency, or allow the number to basically move across the frequency range. So you can see now, if I solo this one out, as it plays, the automation, you can see here, the EQ moves down and it gives it a very nice drowned out sound. I also did this on the vocals in a similar fashion. Again, I used the number 4 frequency and tried to give it the same pattern as in the guitar to allow them to both fade out together. Like that. And then it was all about just arranging it. So we had just a melody to start it off, followed by a two 8-bar hook, and then a 3-bar, or sorry, another 2-bar verse, and then again it repeats like that. And I added in one other thing just to give it a bit of differentiation, which was this string sample from Labs, which is a free plugin, which I'll leave a link to below in the description. And this allowed just for a bit of differentiation when you're heading into the final song. So it kind of sounds like this. And that just gives it a little bit different dynamic, something that the listener won't be expecting. But yeah, that's basically the whole beat. Again, it's very simple and it allows space for the artist to do what they want over the top of it. It gives them space to really bring out their best vocals and their best lyrics. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff, and let me know what tutorial you want me to do next. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.
Oi, Jamie, to